What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Welcome back to the Respawn, where I answer your questions. Today we're talking about customizable character skins, what those little white bags are the pros use, and more. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. You can get a free audiobook to keep forever and support the channel by using the link down below. If you haven't tried audiobooks yet, what are you waiting for? They're awesome. I listen to them every single day, and this is a great chance for you because even if you decide to cancel, you get to keep the book that you picked forever. There's also a great no-hassle return policy, and you can exchange any book at any time for any reason. There's a massive library of books to choose from, so go and grab your free audiobook and start listening today. First question of the day, will we ever get customizable skins where you can change the color of the skins? I don't think so. If you're imagining having a character skin with a little color slider on it and you can move it back and forth from red to purple to blue and so on and so forth, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Also, I don't think the whole mixing and matching of the character skin is going to happen, although the weapon skins might be able to be swapped out, because we've already seen that happen a couple of times. Usually it's by accident or a bug or something, right? Where you have a character skin and it's using the different weapon. Like, hey, wait a minute, that belongs to a different skin. So we know that Blizzard can swap out the weapons. That's not an issue. But whether or not you're going to be able to kind of mix and match the character skin itself, I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't really see them adding the slider thing either. What do you find is the hardest part about making a hero concept? It really depends on which character I'm making, because a lot of times I'll get some idea. Now, if you've paid attention to my hero concept videos, you know there are 3 different methods that I use in order to create the character. Sometimes I start with a story, sometimes I start with an ability, other times I start with trying to fill a need in the game. And it really depends on what's going on. So there are some times when, you know, all the abilities and stuff just fall into place. And then there's other times when I have a really good idea for a story, but then, you know, the hard part then becomes filling in the rest of the gaps. So I wouldn't say there's any one particular thing that I think is difficult. It's generally, you know, whatever I didn't come up with just immediately. And as far as like making all the data and the abilities and stuff, like the numbers, for me, it's not really that difficult. It's just more time consuming. Next up, who's the least viable support right now? Well, once it goes to 222 with the roll queue, I think what's going to happen is Brigitta is probably going to be the least viable. Because you're going to notice that, first of all, you cannot play the character the same way that you could before. I mean, it's not exact, but if you try to just be right up in the front and super aggressive with Brigitta, you're going to get absolutely destroyed, right? You just cannot do that anymore. So there's going to be a completely different play. Well, it's not entirely different, but a very different play style that you need to do. But on top of that, there are some issues with the character, and I don't want to go too much into it with this video because I do plan on making another video where I talk about all the issues, but I think people are going to be in for a rude awakening when all this stuff gets moved over, and they're like, wait a minute, I can't actually use Brigitta anymore. So I think that's probably going to be one of the issues. Next up, do you think a hero with an area effect damage boost would work? Yes, we already have one in the game, Orisa with her ultimate supercharger. That is an area effect damage boost. Now, it looks like it's sending little beams to all your teammates, and that's what's giving the damage boost, but that's purely a visual thing. They could remove those beams altogether, and everybody would still get the same damage boost. That is an area effect damage boost. Now, if you're wondering if another character could have it that's not an ultimate, then yes, I think it could happen. It could be a tank, it could be a DPS, or even a support, but it would have to be significantly weaker than what Orisa is currently providing. It would probably be like a 3-second thing, or maybe a 4-second thing. It would probably only stretch out to like maybe, I don't know, 5 meters at most, right? Like, it would have to be a much, much smaller, much weaker thing, but sure, they could do it. Next question, do different heroes have different walking speeds? For the most part, no. Almost every character in the game will move forward at 5.5 meters per second. However, Tracer and Genji move forward at 6 meters per second, and Lucio, with his speed boost turns on, moves a little bit faster than 7 meters per second. I don't know exactly what the number is, but I know it's over 7. And then also you have to remember that moving backwards is a little bit slower. So again, for the most part, every single character will move at the same speed, except for Genji, Tracer, and Lucio if he has his speed boost on. Next question, where is the Sigma versus every hero video? I am working on it. Those take a lot of time in order to get all of the different things that I need to have in order for that video. Just making the images and stuff takes a long time, the way it's all set up, but I am working on it. It should be out soon. Next up, what do you think we'll see for the Halloween event? Unfortunately, it's gonna be pretty much the same thing that we've had in the last couple years. And in addition, Jeff Kaplan has confirmed that there's probably only going to be 4 legendary skins, just like we had with the Summer Games. Now, I talked about this briefly in a previous video, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal that it's, just kind of a recycled event with, less skins, because they're going to be releasing other stuff as well. So again, with what they did with the Summer Games, they had the event, but then they also added the new character, the massive hero balances, and also the role queue. So they're planning something kind of similar with the Halloween event as well. So the event itself may not be spectacular, but there's supposed to be a lot of other things coming along with it. Next up, I've seen some players in the Overwatch League holding small white bags in their hands in between games. Do you know what those are? Yes, I actually saw those a little while ago. It was in, I believe it was a Dota tournament where I saw them. And I was like, what are those? And I did a little research on them. Those are talcum bags, or sometimes they use chalk bags, but for the most part, they're talcum bags. And the whole purpose of them is to just dry your hands. They've got the powder inside. You can just kind of rub your hands against them or you squeeze them, and it just dries off your hands so they're not sweaty and they're not slick. For the most part, people use them for playing billiards and darts and that sort of stuff, but obviously these guys, they're using the keyboard and the mouse, and they want to make sure their hands are dry, so that's what they use them for. In fact, I have a talcum bag right in front of me right now. I went and bought them. They're really cheap. You can just search online for talcum bag or chalk bag, and you'll find them for just a couple of bucks. But they're pretty cool. I like to use them. So there you go. Mystery solved. Next up, does Sigma's accretion stun for longer the farther away the target is from him? Yes. Up close, it's just a very, very short kind of mini stun, but really far away, I believe the maximum time is 3 seconds. So that is a very long stun, but you also have to be quite a distance away from him in order for that to actually hit. So I am going to be making another video about Sigma. It'll be a guide, and it's going to go through all of his different abilities, and I'm also going to have some tips and tricks and some other things, and I'm going to tell you all of these details and put all of this stuff in so you know exactly how long different things will work and all that sort of stuff. So make sure to stay tuned for that and for the Sigma versus every hero video. But that is going to be all the questions for this week. Thank you to everyone who submitted one. And remember, I post the question card on the community tab of my YouTube channel every Saturday, so that is where you submit your questions. And also, make sure to check out that Audible link down below. You can get yourself a free audiobook. Even if you cancel, you get to keep it forever. It's a great deal. It helps support the channel, so make sure to check it out. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.